What can I say? The bitch is back. Apparently, the CPU replacement did not fix it. And it just didn't happen to do the flickering dots thing when I was testing it. But it happened to the owner like right away, so he sent it back. The only thing I can think left to do is to replace the SRAM chips. And if that doesn't do it, I'm not real sure where to go with this. And just because I wanted to make sure I eliminated the possibility, I put in a new reset cap. And I still get speckles. A little bit different. Never seen them confined to the gray part down there. That's kind of cool. Oh, look at that. They're even like black speckles. I don't know if that, does that come out on camera or not? Yeah, you can kind of see it. Messing with the words a little bit. It's really bad in person. Very interesting. A whole different set of speckles there. Super weird. So yeah, let's do the SRAMs and see what happens. Okay, so I got the SRAMs in sockets and let it run for a little bit, and I got, it's the same chips. I got the speckles to come back, but then I swapped them, video for work, and ran the EverDrive for a while. It's been an hour now. Kept hitting reset every few minutes, and never to get the speckles back. So I just wanted to run through and get the RAM test ROM through it, and they both still pass. So it must not be a very good ROM test, but I think it if it's the video SRAM now in the work RAM, then it seems to be okay. And I'll talk to the customer and see if he wants to leave it like that, or if I should go ahead and put some different ones in there. I'm not really sure. It's going to be it's not something I can put a new chip in. I bought a bunch of new SRAM chips that were supposedly, you know, pretty compatible, but they just weren't. They were like faster or something like that, and it was only like, you know, 1 or 2 out of 10 actually worked. So I'm gonna put the EverDrive back in and just keep testing and see if I can get the speckles to come back. And if not, then I think I'm just gonna, like I said, talk to the customer and see what he wants to do. But that does seem to be what the problem is. Well, that didn't work.
What?
Okay, so both SRAMs have been swapped with this board, and they were all 4 showing that they were good anyway. We've got a different CPU, a different PPU, a different NES-RGB, and now even I've been using my SD card. Okay, and I still get speckles. Let's see if they'll come when I reset. This is the first I've seen them in a game, actually, and with my SD card I've yet to actually see them in the menu. Yeah, right away in the game. That's crazy. So I am really at a loss here of what's causing it, because I mean, there's absolutely very little, if anything, that's original to the NES top loader board here. The only thing I can think left to do is just put it into a completely different top loader, and then make this top loader just a composite modded top loader, because you will not see any of those specs in a composite modification. It's just the NES-RGB with this particular EverDrive. I mean, I can't even get it to do it with my EverDrive. It's crazy. And I've just made a liar out of myself. It's hard to see him in this background, but I've got my EverDrive on there and my SD card on his NES-RGB machine. I mean, we've practically eliminated everything on here, you know, except for just controller logic and I don't know, maybe the clock circuit, but I couldn't imagine the clock circuit being that crazy out of alignment. I don't know. Let me take a look at it. Okay, so the Rigol 1102 is set up here. and I get a 21.475 megahertz signal. I don't see anything super abnormal about that waveform. I don't know. Okay, so it may have actually gotten interesting when I mentioned the clock circuit. There is a tiny little cap right there, that green thing. It's a trim cap. It's adjustable. And I can seem to make the speckles come and go when I adjust that cap. Okay, you can see I've got the waveform. There's no speckles on there right now, but I can play with it, and there they are. And I can play with that trim cap and make them go away. Can you believe it? I guess what I really need is some kind of instruction on how to set up this waveform perfectly, and I think maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult with the digital oscilloscope. As far as I think, really the only thing this thing really does is change the amplitude of the waveform. But I don't know, that may have actually fixed this thing once and for all. It doesn't look normal though. All the graphics are shifting around like that. Let's try a game that I actually recognize and know here. Sorry about that, I just realized I had the fan on in the background. Come on. I know my Abidox doesn't work on this. Duck Hunt Mapper's not supported. I think I got a bad ROM set on here. This is one of my favorite TG16 games. It's kind of fun to play on NES actually. But no amount of fiddling is giving me speckles. We'll go back to this Jag game. Maybe it's mapper related somehow. No, now it just doesn't want to do it. I mean, it's quite possible. What's happened is I've just messed with that trim cap enough to where the contacts inside of it are cleaned itself off and has a better connection. I don't know. I don't think these airtight trim caps even have a lot of contact inside of them. Maybe none. Oh, there they are. And now they're gone. Just about a 90-degree movement of that trim cap. And the picture shifts a little bit, and I can get speckles. Ugh. Still at 21.475 megahertz, so you know, and I really couldn't tell you every top loader is giving me that exact same number, but I'm betting it's pretty close. $21,475.1, exactly the same. However, you can see that very well. The waveform on this one looks quite a bit more stable. Not exactly pulling from the same point. Yeah, let's set it up exactly the same here. I would have to say it does look quite a bit more stable. Let's swap back to the NES-RGB. Sam's console here. Big hand out of the way here, possibly. It definitely looks more jumpy to me. You can especially see it right here. And I know there's a way. Oh, what is that called? Persistence of vision or something like that. I have to tell you, I'm still very new at the digital oscilloscope. And it's possible this one doesn't do it. I've watched a lot of videos with the EEV blog, and Dave shows it on his oscilloscopes, and those are definitely higher end. That is super cool. Is there a way to clear that? It just kind of gives you an idea of how much it's jumping around. And if we switch back to my top loader, I really can't say as it looks much better. except for like right there, you know. It looks worse. It does look a lot jumpier for some reason. Well, the only thing I can say now is what I want to do, since I've played with that capacitor. I'll put his EverDrive, his SD card, back in his top loader board here. Let that run again. I'm already seeing the speckles. It's the black ones and the white text. I've got blue speckles down here. I don't know if that's showing up on camera or not. But these do not seem to be going away. Now they're gone. I'm actually seeing speckles in the loading screen. What a highly aggravating problem. We'll let this go for a while and see what happens. Well, I've got them back again. Haven't been doing much except letting it run just to make sure they would come back, and they sure did. So I'm still at a loss here, other than maybe just that clock circuit just too much out of whack. I don't know. There's really not much left of the Nintendo that could be causing all this. Okay, so now I'm thoroughly confused. Flickering dots, but what I've done is take his nesrgb board and put it into a different top loader. Of course, it's still his EverDrive. The only thing that I really brought over with it was, of course, the multi-out rear panel and his 7805. So I really can't imagine the 7805 is doing this, but it's worth a shot. So I put a different 1.5 amp 7805, and that was, let's see, it's like 9:30 now, so that was probably I would say it was probably closer to 4:30, so like 5 hours ago. And I've been walking through every so often, resetting it, turning it off and on, restarting a ROM, and so far I have 0 speckles. And so I don't know why, but that seems to have fixed it. So I'm going to continue letting it cycle ROMs and keep playing with it, maybe for even a couple days, just to be real sure, but it seems to have fixed it. Okay, so it's like 10:45 now, and again I've been running this thing and hitting reset and just doing everything you would normally do. Oh my god, there they are. Took a while, but they came back. This makes 0 sense to me. I mean, because at this point, the only thing that's the same is his EverDrive. But why is it happening to my EverDrive as well? This is a completely different NES-101, a different nesrgb. Highly, highly aggravating. I was gonna prod our clock again. Kind of hard for me to get my hand out of the way of it. It doesn't really look much different than it did before. It's the 5-volt rail with persist on. It has all new caps. And like I said, it's a different NES-101 board. We're at 200 microsecond time, 100 millivolt vertical scale. And I don't see it going more than 50 millivolt high or low, which would be 0.05 volt, right? So yeah, I really don't see that being a problem. This is really, really weird. I mean, if I've gotten to this point, then why haven't more people had this problem? I'm really, really at a loss here. Not sure where to go with this. I mean, if it was specific to any one thing, then I would have eliminated it by changing the nesrgb, by changing the SRAM, CPU, PPU, 7805, caps. I guess the one thing that is truly the same with all NES-101s is the reset circuit, and that's something that Tim talked about, trying to rebuild the reset circuit so that it would mimic the front loaders. Man, I really don't feel like doing that. And then why haven't more people had this issue, you know? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, right away I've got the speckles again. This is on my EverDrive. I don't remember where he was talking about it, but I think Tim may have spoke up either on the last video or on the Shmups thread about a few different things, and he was talking about the reset circuit. He was talking about bad connections at was it EXT 0 through 3. Of course, this one has a new CPU in it, or not say, shouldn't say new, but a used CPU, which is actually from Sam's first time around with the other NES-101, but I had it happen with 2 CPUs, so I really am not wanting to blame the CPU. And that is awful. I wouldn't want to play with all them speckles either. I do have another nesrgb on the workbench, so I guess what I'll do is try to have the speckle problem come up with somebody else's nesrgb. And if I just can't do it, then I don't know, give them a different nesrgb, I guess. It's the only thing I can think of at this point. Okay, so this is somebody else's nesrgb top loader, and I had Sam's EverDrive on here to start with. I was getting nothing, and then I thought, well, I'll hurry up and switch to my EverDrive because I like to test with this one specific game. It seems to show it a lot on the initial screen, and I swear to God, I had speckles right off the bat, right when I turned it on. They were just kind of glittering, and then they faded down and went away, and I have not gotten them to come back at all yet. So I'm going to let it run. Might be an all-day thing again, but who knows, maybe we'll prove or disprove it again. Okay, it might be hard to make them out, but they're definitely there. And again, this is my EverDrive and a completely different NES-RGB board. So, well, I mean, the only thing really common between them is I'm using a 1.5 amp 7805. And of course, they both use the same kind of reset circuit, but I don't know. It's just not making a lot of sense. I don't really see any on this screen. Definitely see them here. They're kind of all over the place. I mean, to me this proves it's EverDrive and NES-101 only, but it's definitely not just a certain NES-RGB board or a certain EverDrive, since I can get the speckles on either one. Okay, well, it took me all of about 5 or 6 tries of resetting and powering on and off the EverDrive to get the speckles to come back, and what I've done is put a normal 7805 in there, just the stock one, and I knew it wasn't going to make any difference, but I just had to eliminate it, There it is. All kinds of speckles.
I guess so. We're still left with the question of why haven't more people complained about this problem? I think there's maybe one other guy on the Shmups thread that has mentioned it, and then now I have Sam's doing it. But I've recreated the problem in so many different ways that it seems likely that it is a problem between EverDrive, NES-RGB, and the NES-101. I guess what I really should try next is a front loader, but I don't have anybody on my list right now that's even going to have a front loader NES-RGB modded. I guess I can pull out one of mine somewhere and give it a whirl and see if I can get the speckles to go there. Now, if I get the speckles to have on a front loader, that means it's not specific to the NES-101 or the NES-101's reset circuit, which I think would be awesome to eliminate as well, but it seems like it's just about the only thing left here that makes any sense. I mean, I've had two different NES-RGBs, so I can't blame any of the components on the NES-RGB. I've tried, all kinds of different chips, CPU, PPU, SRAMs, different 7005, caps, just everything. It just doesn't make sense why these speckles keep coming back. So, if anybody out there has any ideas and you want me to try some stuff, let me know.
Okay, so I did have a front loader sitting around waiting for some NES-RGB work. And I have been working it all freaking day. And I just cannot make the speckles come out. Which, really, I mean, that's a good thing. It kind of points us towards the reset circuit of the top loader, since it's different in the front loader. But that might be a little bit more mod work than most people want to do, just to eliminate the speckles, when they could just get a power pack or use the original games. I don't know, I've got a few people that are desperate for a fix for that EverDrive Snow, basically is what we call it. So yeah, that might be what I dig into next, is actually try to put a front loader type reset circuit into a top loader. Oh my.